Hi and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147. It is time to do another section of my Colourful Kooka. I did get the rest of the bottom section done, so we are on the second row. So I did get a little bit of diamond painting in this week. Not a lot, but I did get a little bit in. Actually, I was going to do the 939 first, but I think I might do some of this 310 first. There's not loads, but yeah, I'm just doing a normal size section today. I am hoping to get this up for 4 o'clock, but it is currently 2:30 on Sunday, and I need to, of course, film this and get it edited and get it uploaded. So we'll see. It all depends on whether the internet wants to play the fast game or the slow game as to whether this will be up for 4 o'clock. But yeah, had a rather busy weekend this weekend. Megan and I found a slightly more local quilt shop. She needed a backing for a quilt she's doing for a friend for Christmas. So she planted the idea in my head on Friday evening about going out to look for a quilt backing because Hobbycraft didn't have anything. That's only 5 minutes away. And didn't quite want to take the hour-and-a-half trip to the shop in Llandudno, which is an amazing shop, but just for a quilt backing, an hour and a half seemed a bit extreme. So yeah, we ended up finding one more local, still as amazing as the shop in Llandudno, a different kind of amazing, but still absolutely amazing. So yeah, we managed to pick up some quilt backing for a couple of quilts. Megan picked up one for the quilt she's doing for a friend, and she's doing a quilt in the same sort of design but a slightly different colour scheme for herself, which she has primarily done. She's done a chunk of it, but not all of it. So she picked up some fabric for that too. And yeah, so we went there yesterday, and then my main task for this weekend was I had 2 quilt tops finished and a third one nearly finished, which is the one I picked up a backing for, but the 2 quilt tops I had finished and Megan's quilt top for her friend that she had finished, we wanted to get put into a quilt sandwich ready to quilt, and I was determined to do that this weekend because I have my quilting day next weekend. So yeah, we ended up doing that last night. Probably would have been better to do it today. I always like to baste earlier on in the day if I can help it. I don't tend to make as many mistakes if I do it earlier on in the day. So we had a few mistakes, a few tweaks, but we got it all to work. The only reason we did it last night is we used the big packing table in the shop to put the quilt layers together. And it was due to rain this morning. So we were like, oh, who wants to traipse fabric through the rain to the shop? So we did it last night, and part of me regrets it and part of me is glad that it's done. It's my least favourite part of quilting is putting those layers together. It's probably the bottom of my list. But anyway, yeah, so yesterday ended up being spent with a trip to a quilt shop, a good hour or two in the quilt shop, and then a good couple of hours ironing quilt tops and backings and basting everything all together. And then today, this morning, I have been out with hubby. He's lost quite a bit of weight recently, so is in need of some new clothes. So we went out for breakfast and then went shopping for him. Yeah, so weird shopping with men. They shop so differently to women. They just seem to make decisions so much easier. But anyway, yeah, we found him some clothes and then we've come back after a stop by one of our discount shops to sort of pick up cans of pop and toilet roll that we tend to buy in bulk. And yeah, I was like, oh, still need to do my WIP and Waffle. I was going to do it on Friday night. I can't remember what stopped me on Friday night. The kids were about, I think. Catherine came home, kids were about discussing quilt shops, and it just got too late for me to do it on Friday night. So yeah, so here I am, trying to get a section done and get it edited and up for you guys for 4. Megan's got a couple of days of supply work this week, so I've definitely got a couple of busy days in the shop. Definitely got a busy day tomorrow because I'm running so low on some of our cover paper selections due to their popularity. I'm going to have to prepare quite a few for orders tomorrow, and yeah, I'm going to get this filmed and then maybe try and start to quilt some of the quilts that we put together in a sandwich yesterday. They're going to take a while until they're finished, but I might be able to make a start. We shall see. I hope everybody else is having a great weekend. Say ours has been busy but good. It just seems as though time is absolutely flying away from me, but by the time we'd finished putting the quilt sandwiches together, it was about 8:30. I was fit for absolutely nothing. Fit for nada. But yeah, weekends just seem to fly by at the moment. Don't seem to get, or I don't feel as though I get a lot of time at weekends anymore. But anyway, I'm happy to be having a minute and diamond painting, if naught else. Get another section done on my Kooka, and hopefully over this next week I'll be able to get some more done because I've had a few unboxings that I've done recently, and I am so eager to be diamond painting, to be working on diamond paintings, to be finishing diamond paintings, to be able to be starting another. There's just not enough hours in the day to diamond paint as much as I'd like to. I also do need to blame Kim entirely for pointing out the Christmas painting that released from Dreamer Designs this week. I probably would not have spotted it enough, though it did appear on my feed quite a bit after it was pointed out by Kim. Now, whether that's just the algorithm seeing that I showed an interest in it and therefore showing it me more. A couple of people also tagged me on the Dreamers Designs post of it as well. So I did get tagged by a few people, but I think Kim was first, hence I'm blaming Kim. I did end up purchasing it. I do not need any more Christmas paintings, but it's absolutely gorgeous, and I completely love the classic navy colourway. I love White Christmas. It is with my Christmas decorations ready to be able to go up, but this new one, I absolutely adore that as well, and I adore the sort of red one that I have that I picked up at the end of last year. I love that one too. So it may be that I'm having different Christmas images in different areas of my home. I guess it will depend when they get picked for me to do them. I'm tempted to push it in front of the line, but I also have so many other paintings that I am itching to do as well. So yeah, we'll see how long Kooka takes me. It's coming together nicely. Some of the diamonds aren't wow. They look okay when you take a step back, so there's nothing wrong with the finished image. I just do feel like I'm pushing some of them down a little bit more than others, having to sort of nestle them into place a bit more. Oh, and this one I've definitely left a gap down here. The adhesive on these is different. It's a different type of mounting adhesive or something, so sometimes nudging diamonds down can be a little bit harder, or at least that's what I've found. So maybe that's why they're popping up a little bit more, because they just don't nudge out the way the same. However, it's still enjoyable to do, and it's still a gorgeous picture as it's coming together. So I shall carry on. Oh, have I managed to? Yeah, I've managed to sort of knock the adhesive with my pen there, and I can't quite tell what letter that should be. I'll deal with that in a minute. It's not this symbol. Yeah, so comments, etc. left from previous WIP and Waffles. Let's get off my manic weekend with not enough time, not enough hours in the day, or maybe it's just not enough stamina to use all the hours in the day. I think there's a bit of that going on as well. But Marsha, she says her great grandparents had an outhouse. She says she had never been to their home, she says, until her great grandfather died. She says there's so many people at their house, both before and after the funeral. She says, so even though there was an indoor bathroom by then, which was the 1960, she says her mum took her sister and herself to the outhouse. She says she was horrified to learn that it was a two-seater, but there were no stalls separating the two holes. So they were cheek to cheek, she said. She still remembers that awful smell. Oh, it's amazing how sometimes it's the little things that just stick with you. And yeah, I can imagine that was not entertaining, especially when you're used to indoor toilets. Even more so, a bit more of a culture shock. Tracy, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she loves my work. She says, you know how your hand, she says, was sticking to the glue all the time. She says just a little trick that she does. She says she puts the cover paper there. She says it's easy to move across the canvas. Thank you. I didn't realise my hand was sticking though. I mean, I know you can hear the click. That's not my hand moving. That's the diamonds sticking. That's the putty or the glue dot in my multi-placer. I do tend to use my pinky if I'm near it. So it's sort of, you may hear a little bit of that. But I don't tend to rest my whole hand on as much, unless I've got myself in a kerfuddle and a pickle, which could have happened. I've slept since that WIP and Waffle, so I'm not quite sure. But I could have done. Bobby says they're finally back. They said they are so ready for this summer to be over. Hang on, I went to straighten my diamonds up and managed to knock a load of them out of place. It's a video card on their computer went out. Ouch. See the dollar signs. Dropped the monitor when trying to move it to work on the computer. Oh no. And then also found out that, Dad's cancer is now in his bones. And just found out this weekend that their daughter-in-law is having major liver issues and is in the hospital. Oh my goodness me, I'm not surprised you can't wait for it to be over. Sounds like you are getting everything at once, thrown at you left, right and centre. Said the only good thing that happened this summer, is the birth of their beautiful new granddaughter, which is amazing. Said thank heaven for diamond painting. They've said they also forgot to mention that they had 2 tornadoes within minutes of each other that touched down just about a mile from their house. They tore the roof off the high school for their county and damaged several other homes. Oof. Well, I'm glad it avoided you. It sounds like you've already had your run-of-the-mill of bad things happening and you were due a break in that department. But it's really hard when it's something that hits your local community and hits close to home. I mean, it's hard wherever it happens, but it hits in a different way when it's close to home. Stay safe, stay with each other as much as you possibly can. And yeah, stay strong because you've had it all. Lady Dax, she says getting any appointment, she says, here in London is a nightmare. She says yesterday, they waited 12 hours for a 111 callback. So 111 is our version of sort of not 999 emergency or 911 in other countries. It's not like a full level emergency, but it is needing medical assistance or advice. It's sort of the lower version, the not emergency, but still need help. And yeah, 11 hours is nerve-wracking, to say the least, especially because sometimes they do then tell you to go to hospital. She said they had an outside loo until she was 11. She said Dad used to light a small paraffin lamp in there during winter to stop it freezing. She says their bath was a tin one that hung in the garden and was brought into the kitchen once a week for them to all take their bath. It was a dream come true, she says, when they moved into a maisonette with an indoor bath, loo and central heating. Oh, you got all the things at once. She says the stress of her kitchen refit has taken its toll on her fibromyalgia. I've probably completely hashed how you say that, but my brain's not working today. I think I'm exhausted from shopping with hubby. As quick and as different as it is with men, we did both hit a point where we're like, we are done. Let's go home. She says, but she just keeps telling herself it will be worth it in the end. It will be worth it in the end. And sometimes if you have no control over it, you do have to try your hardest to sort of ignore it to a certain extent, which is easier for some people than it is for others. But to ignore it as much as you can, and then once it's done and the people are out of your house, then you look to fix it, or to not so much fix it, straighten your house up again to the way you like it. But yeah, any sort of work like that is is an upheaval. We're having our boiler replaced in a few weeks. It's sort of it's not gone, but it's been here as long as we've lived in the house, so it is 25, 26 years old. It is done absolutely great, and we could potentially keep it ticking probably for a few more winters, but it is getting to the point that we would rather replace it than potentially end up with no heating or hot water. So we're looking at being a little bit proactive and getting that done, and it will be great once it's done, but I'm not looking forward to the work being done. I mean, our plumber is fantastic. He is so courteous and thoughtful of the house and all the rest of it. Even just coming and getting a quote, he was amazing and always has been. He replaced the radiator in our kitchen when we had that done a while back. So I have the assurance of knowing who's coming and that he is the bee's knees in relation to who's going to be doing it. But I know full well that's going to be my excuse to just ignore the house until he's finished and then writing it when he's done. Especially because the boiler's moving. So yeah, I'm just going to straighten everything else up once he's done his part. Yeah. How much can you ignore your kitchen, Lady Dax? Just ignore it. Just ignore it. Liv, she has a message to Lady Dax. She says she goes to audiology for her ears, as she's been deaf since birth. She says she would contact audiology and explain that you are really struggling. She said, or speak to your GP to see if you can get an urgent appointment. Just explain, she says, how bad things are. And that is the thing. Sometimes you do need to explain the worst days, not the better days. There are times when you do need to sort of advocate for yourself a little bit and explain the worst days that you have with it, to see if you can get that help that you do need. Right, I only need a couple of these, so try not to tip out too many. It's the only thing with these Elizabeth Ward containers, you can so easily tip out so many more than what you actually need. She says she goes for micro suctioning. She says as her ears get full of wax, she says, which is very annoying, as it makes it even more. It makes her even more deaf than she is already. She says she hates saying pardon or you what all the time, which I get. She says she kills two birds with one stone. She says not literally, as she gets her hearing aid tube sorted in the same appointment. She says the things that we have to go through, she says, to help us. She says good luck with getting a more urgent appointment. Yeah, hopefully you will and be able to get things sorted and looking better for you, or hearing better, sounding better for you, because you deserve to live your life to its fullest. So let them know the worst days and see if they can help make those days better for you. Dimitri says, hey Rebecca and Zesties, thank you so much for the beautiful video. Thank you for being here and watching. She says she started a new painting, a 70 by 50 rainbow tornado, and they love the colours. They said it's so beautiful. They said thank you so much and shalom. Love a new painting. Sorry, camera's saving on me. Yeah, love doing a new painting, enjoying the new colours on a painting when everything sort of starts coming to life. It's so much fun. I'm just having a little bit of a nudge of some of these. I do need to try and do some more of this through the week, though I keep saying that, and you'll probably hear that again from me next week. I never know how a week's going to go, but at the moment it definitely always seems to be taking me more time than I think. Taking more of my time than I think it will. Okay. I just tried dipping straight into the pot then, because I only need about 5 of these. But the pot's got a few too many diamonds in for me to be able to do it easily. So we will use the tray, is what it's there for. Some of these bright colours. Have to do the same with this one. Grey Legrand, she says, hitting pause. She says her grandmother had 2 bathrooms in her old house. Ooh. She says the common space bathroom, she says, had a tub with a piece of garden hose attached to the spigot if you needed the shower effect. She says there was no special shower attachment and you had to hold the hose above your head. She says fun times. That reminds me of the sort of shower attachment we used to have at our house. In fact, I think my mum still has one. They do have a shower in their house. They have an ensuite with a shower, and they have a bathroom in their house in Australia. But she still uses the shower attachment that we grew up with as kids to clean out the bath. Because otherwise she'd have to use a jug or something, which I must admit, cleaning out a bath without having some sort of shower attachment would probably drive me up the wall. It's so much easier to clean when you have a shower attachment to rinse it all off. But yeah, it had 2 bits that went on the end of the tap, 2 bits that sort of sucked onto the tap and then joined into one and gave you a shower. And that's what we had for many, many years until, I say, they got a shower put in their wardrobe, in their bedroom, a power shower. And yeah, my dad loved that thing. He loves a good shower. Melissa, she says, hello, Rebecca. She says she hopes I'm well. She says she is in awe of the sparkles in this kit. So far. She says, did you change the angle of the light? I don't think I have. We have put some soundproofing things on the back wall, so a light may have got knocked, but I still think it's the same. It is a very sparkly kit, especially these darker diamonds. So the 939 diamonds are actually some of the nicest in the kit. I actually find the ones that I'm pushing down and struggling with a little bit more are some of these lighter colours down here, not so much this section. This section I'm not having to nudge down and stuff anywhere near as much. So it may well be they are very, very sparkly. She says she wishes this company still sold this kit. She says, are they even still open? She says, you may have mentioned it in your kit up video. She says, but she's forgotten. She says, brain fog and all. I actually hadn't looked it up, so it wasn't anything I mentioned in my video. But somebody did mention the website says about them sort of coming back or updating stuff, though as far as I know their website has said that for quite a while, so I don't truly know what's going on with them at all, but it is, I say, still such a lovely picture. And considering how small the diamonds are, actually getting them all the right size and being able to fit in the canvas and all that sort of stuff, it's not an easy feat. You are going to have the odd ones, I think, that don't fit as snug. It's just how much you notice it. And a lot of that depends on how many of them are that little bit off. See these diamonds here, this letter M, these are beautiful diamonds. Absolutely beautiful. Very similar to the likes of the 939 and stuff in how they are fitting. I think I need to change the putty in this multiplater soon. Yeah, these are fitting really, really nicely. So it's not this colour I'm having a trouble with either. So I think a lot of it does depend, because when I only have a little bit of the colour in it, which I do on some of them further to the right, those sections look in general nicer. It's when I have quite a few of the not as nice diamonds close together that it, close up, it looks a little bit worse. But as I say, further away, it looks fine. And once it is all down and I have managed to push all those little bits in, it's been great. So all in all, I'll take it, because it's still such a fun picture and it's going to be so nice when it's finished. Right, I think I went for that one that I managed to scratch the glue so I couldn't see the letters. I'm pretty sure that was the letter M. It is now. And I've just realised that those two pink ones I put up there, I've got two pink ones down here as well. So I'll get them after. Cheryl, she says she is guess that she is going to hop on the laundry conversation train. You hop on with us. We hop on and hop off it all the time. She says in her experience / knowledge, she says top loader washing machines are side by side only. She says next to the dryer. She says due to the weight of it. She says top loaders have a bigger capacity than front loaders, which is something that would be extremely handy in this house, especially because I seem to constantly be behind on the washing. She says she doesn't think I would have to worry about getting a ladder to load it. No, it would probably be the trying to unload it that would be my problem. Actually getting things in it, I can play basketball enough to get things in it. Getting things out of it might be a different matter. She says she thinks there are pros and cons to both types. She says top loaders hold more clothes and allow you to open the door mid-wash. Just spotted another one I've missed. She says, but use more water. She says front loaders don't use as much water, but you can't open it mid-wash. Yeah, unless I get mine quick enough, if I do forget something to put in it, which in this house is not very often, because there's always another load to do. So it's never like, oh, I missed that odd sock. You know, there's 50 other socks that need to go in. So what is it if I've missed one? But yeah, if I ever am on top of the washing and miss one, if it's not filled too much with water, mine will let me stop it and add something in. If it's filled with water to the point that opening the door would create a mess, then it won't let me. But I do, every time I have to buy a new washing machine, I go up in the amount of clothes that it can hold. Every single time I have gone up a kilogram. I think you can get them from like holding 4 kilograms of clothes up to, I think there's some that are like 12 now. I think we're on like 9 or 10 kilograms of clothes. Anything that I can get away with having the bigger size option, I will go for that every single time. Right, I think this is one of the diamonds that doesn't sit nice multi-placing. It's not too bad. It's not too good either. I think it depends how many I'm placing at once. I think this is one when I've accidentally picked up 5. It doesn't sit very nice, but I can get away with up to 4. If I was able to use the likes of a 10 placer or something like that, I don't think it would work very well for this colour. But that's okay. I'm just going to do a few of the longer strips that take like 3 or 4, and then we'll just single place the rest because they'll sit nicer. Have a bit more control when single placing. Stephanie, she says, hi Rebecca and everyone. She says she hopes that everybody is well. Most are well. If not, they are keeping strong is what they're doing. She says she was listening to comments, she says, and she had to laugh when someone's boyfriend, she says, found a drill on them and she asked what shape and colour it was. Yes, she says she was by herself, she says, and she was laughing. Always good to be able to have a laugh even when you're on your own. She says she's working on an aura lower, she says, that you showed on your channel. She says that has lots of colour changes. She said it makes me feel better. She says that she is not the only one that misses colours. She says she starts a section with a colour that stands out. She says, but for some reason she keeps missing colours and has to pull out colours several times within one section, which I totally get. And they do have some colours, and this is what I think causes it a lot of the time, is they can have a bit of a different look depending on what they're surrounded by. So if you have a black, for example, we'll just go the extreme options. But if you have like confetti, randomly placed black diamonds within white, they're going to be easy to spot. If you have random black ones within 939, for example, which is your dark colour, it's going to be a lot harder to spot. And then when you start getting to mixed colours, like you end up with some pinks in with some purples, you know, and they've got a similar look already, but then you have some pinks next to some reds, which your eyes are used to looking for the pinks within the purples, not the pinks within the reds. So they can have a different look to them. And that's what I tell myself every single time as a perfectly valid reason for missing diamonds constantly. Lady Dax, she says this may be a long one. She says, but first off, she says she loves the new branding. She says AMZ has gone posh. Oh, thank you. We absolutely love the new branding. It keeps, you know, it's still familiar, but it has a bit more of a punch behind it, which we really like. She says she thinks the last few months' stress, she says, has finally got to her. Or she says the shingles virus she had back in 2006 has reared its ugly head, she says, and she's got she's got spots. She says the pain is so bad. She says she's had no real sleep for almost a week. She's had a trip in an ambulance for pains in the chest, and she's now on antiviral meds on top of all her others. Oh no, you just need your house back. That's what you need. You need your house back to being yours. She says P Jelly has been amazing in looking after her. Well done, P Jelly. stepping up. She says she can't even sit at a table to diamond paint. Don't beat yourself up over that. Take the time you need to recover. And, you know, you will recover. It won't be forever. It just feels horrid while it's happening. But do make sure you're looking after yourself. She says she's still waiting to use her beautiful bright tray. She says the kitchen refit has been a nightmare. She says they have no idea what they're doing. Oh. Council is employing cowboys by the sounds of it, going for cheap labour over do it once and do it right, which sucks because it's still a person's home. She says, and if it was her paying, she says, for it rather than the council, she says they wouldn't get a penny. She says, okay, she says, rant over. She says, hopes that me and others SDs are well. Oh, I am so sorry it's going pants, because you were so looking forward to getting the new kitchen. It's like, why can they not just do it right or hire the right people for the job? Bev says when the council refitted her kitchen a few years back, she said hers was a nightmare from start to finish. She says she has a lovely new stopcock, she says, that was put in the wrong place, so it was never connected to anything. Just spotted another one I've missed. She says it was never connected to anything. She says, so sorry that you're poorly. She says she hopes that the meds work and you start to feel better soon. I mean, our house was originally a council house back in the day, but luckily we never had like a kitchen fit or anything while we were here before we bought it. We did a kitchen fit after we'd bought it to make the kitchen make sense. But yeah, I don't think I'd have liked to have seen the actual work going on in any way, shape or form. Trudy, she says, a great video. She says she has watched / listened while doing her big Diamond Art Club cat. She says she told her son, who has a cat just like it, she says that she could do it as a Christmas present, and he was very happy, which is awesome. She says she didn't tell him which Christmas though. That's it. Us mums have got to cover our backs. She says it is so big. Well, exactly. You know, they do need to listen to mum's words carefully. And you didn't say what Christmas. So, you know, our kids are forever learning. Forever learning from things we teach them. You take your time and enjoy the process, even if it does end up being done for a different Christmas than this one. Debbie, she says, Rebecca, she says she can't get anything to stay in her pen. She's tried glue dots, she says putty and wax. She says when she picks up the diamonds, they just pull out. She says she's using one of our pens, she says, but with a metal tip. She said any advice would be greatly appreciated. So in relation to that, the only thing I can suggest, I don't know why the wax didn't work, because that should have been the one that worked no matter what. In relation to the glue dots and the putty, if you've tried the likes of the wax first and then gone to put in the glue dots, you may find that there's some wax residue that's not helping the glue dot to stick, though they are pretty sticky, so they should stick in place. So I suggest, in relation to maybe trying glue dots or putty again, is to give your metal tip a wash. It can handle a wash, and let it fully air dry, just to make sure that there's no like waxy residue on the the pen tip. Then when you put in, if you're putting in then a glue dot, the only other thing I can think that would be pulling it out is if you've not primed your glue dots. So the glue dots are very, very sticky, and sometimes they can stick to the diamonds more than they want to stick to the likes of the pen. So once you put your glue dot in, dab it on your clothes to pick up those little bits of lint, which will help prime your glue dot. Or so yeah, clothes like jeans are quite good. You know, something that's not, you know, I wouldn't go for a full-on woolly jumper if it's got, you'll end up with long bits of hair sticking off your top. But I know like jeans and things can be really good for dabbing it on. You can also dab it on your hands or on the side of your face to get the oils off your hands and your face onto the glue dot to make it that little bit less sticky. You may need to do that on and off for a little bit. If you find that it works for a bit and then it stops working, then you may just need to dab it on clothes or on your face again. And then you will get your glue dot to the sweet spot. But if they're not sticking in your pen and even wax isn't, it sounds like it might be worth giving it just a bit of a clean and an air dry and see if that works. And then prime your glue dots before giving it a go. I mean, I have often changed from wax to a glue dot and not had a problem, but that could be the brand I'm using. If you're using a different brand, it might not like any potential wax residue that's left in there. So give that a go and hopefully that'll help. Right, we have another section done. We are definitely starting to get towards a bit more colour, though we do still have a lot of black to go. We got quite a bit of colour done on the first week, and I'm just sorry I can't do a longer session today, but I have less than an hour to try and get my internet to upload this. But yeah, this where it's primarily darker diamonds, there is the odd one I need to push in, but that's normally just because I haven't pushed them in since I last worked on it. And then some of these are a little bit more gappy, but in general, once you take that step back, the whole thing looks beautiful. So I can't wait to get to a few bits with a bit more colour and get this Kooka coming to life. So anyway, yeah, thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I'm going to carry on with my very busy weekend. I hope you carry on with your amazing weekend, whatever it is that you're doing. And I will speak to you all again soon.